Wait, could you delete that? Hello, everyone. This is Garrick Pratt here, executive producer of Dowdell Productions, and I'm here today to interview Chaz Dowdell, CEO/founder of Dowdell Productions, and this is his legacy.
Weighing in at 202 pounds, making his professional debut out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, please welcome Chaz the Gladiator Dowdell.
If you had a choice, like any choice, how would you live your life? You know, would you live it dangerous, exciting, or pretty just docile? You know, at the end of the day, it's just a choice. You know, we all have a choice to make. My name is Chaz Dowdell. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. Born April 24th, 1993. Years old, and this is my documentary.
Mr. Dowdell, how are you doing?
Great, man. Great. Pretty a little tired. Just been up all night trying, just working. Just working on promotion for the last film first film I just released. So it's just been
The
crazy
shoot.
day. Yeah.
Right, the shoot.
Yep, the shoot.
Yeah. Some of us are thinking, like, where did this drive come from to be 23 years old now, and putting on a movie already, and was a mixed martial arts fighter. Like, where did this drive come from? Like, when did this start?
Like the origin, basically.
Yeah, like, at what point in your life did, like, this legacy more or less start?
I think everything just kind of started, like my eyes started to kind of wake up, or something just like just awoke after like my graduation day for high school. Like ever since that day, just everything just been on like acceleration mode. Just on the train, everything's just going just quick, and just kind of like kind of a survival mode type of thing, but. It was like it's like kind of like what I said, like you only live twice, like for me, because it's like since the day after graduation day is like when something like a whole new version of me just started to grow, and it was just rapidly just change everything of like who I am now.
Did something happen on graduation day?
I didn't get my diploma.
Did?
No.
What happened with that?
I had in high school there was a test called Georgia graduation test. It's basically like the PSSAs like for Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania and whatnot. Only difference is down in Georgia is that they don't have any online assignment or something that can exempt you from it like in Pittsburgh does. So. Took the test multiple times. I think I failed it the first time, maybe I was probably 20 points off. But the second time, I failed about 1 point. And then the next time I took it, it was about 4. Again, 1.
That must have been the setting.
Oh, it was it was crazy because it's like you would take the test, but you didn't know what answers that you got right. So even though like when I was taking the test, I knew like a good bit of it, but then again, it was just all educated answers. But like it says, educated answers a guess. So the next time I would take it, I didn't know if that educated answer was right. So it could have been right, and I changed it, and it could have been wrong. So it's just like
It's a complete gamble.
yeah, and that kind of just kept messing me up. And I remember just being in the classroom, just studying hours, just days, weeks, just trying to like learn it. It just didn't help, and it's just and basically it was like a month before graduation, and I just knew that I wasn't going to like have my diploma, and lost my football scholarship, and just everything just kind of just went downhill. So when graduation day came, I was probably the most like maddest I have ever been like my entire life. It's just I was just pure like just hated. Like it's just so.
What scholar you had a scholarship to where? What schools picked you up?
Actually, I had a scholarship to this junior college school. Chattahoochee Tech, and it was in like Georgia. It was I had a scholarship for football. I want to say I had a scholarship for track. I don't think it was really confirmed, but those were my only two scholarships that I had for which I had lost because I couldn't get cleared for. I know I lost to the football because I couldn't get cleared for the NCAA clearinghouse because I need my diploma. And since the next time I was able to take the test was July, and that was way past to get enrolled.
Graduation date and everything.
Yeah, I think graduation was probably May.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
How did your family react to that with not graduating and everything?
Well, my mom was in prison at the time, and I was only around my sisters, my baby sister. She was kind of, too young to kind of know what's going on. But
right.
My older sister, she kind of knew. It was just like something you just kind of had to accept. It's nothing you can change, and she just wanted me to, stay for the summer and try to take the test again and get a job. But we were just kind of at a bad, it was just a lot of stress going on as far as me and her. Her having to take care of me and my baby sister.
Tremendous stress.
Yeah, it wasn't her choice. My mom went to jail unexpectedly, and she just had to take care of that. And then my granddad started got cancer, so he was dying. And at that time, I think he did pass. Maybe a couple weeks after graduation.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So.
Where was your father in all of this?
Oh, the rest of my family was in Pittsburgh. So in Georgia, only family I had at the time was my two sisters. But originally it was just me, my mom, and my two sisters. So everyone else is in Pittsburgh.
Well, have you been able to get your GED and everything, or your diploma? Did that ever transpire, or?
There was many opportunities to try to get it, but I was just graduation day. I was just too upset. I did not want it. I mean, it's not that I didn't want it. It's just that I was so mad because it's kind of robbed. I felt kind of robbed, cheated a little bit, and just to get a certificate of attendance and everyone who was there, classmates and all, just thinks, oh, he got his diploma, yeah, he walked. But really, behind the curtains, it's just it was just a certificate of attendance, and I just kind of, I tried to do a GED program, and something just back of my head was no, don't stop doing it. I mean, that was after, and I did a GED. I tried to do a GED program. I did for a second, then I was just no, it's not. I quit it. Then I got into another GED program, think months after that. And the only reason I kind of stuck with that because they paid you, and so it was kind of nice to get paid. And I was seconds away from like, kind of getting my GED, but I was pumped. I was like for it, like just like I'm gonna get my GED, because we was doing all these practice tests, and I was just acing them, just like A's and all that, like 90s plus. And everyone else in the other room was probably like 27, 30, haven't been in high school in like 6-7 years, So I remember one of the the lady or teacher, she's like, oh well, y'all can if you want to get your take your GED test, we'll pay for it, and you just let us know right now, or after we get done talking, if you want to take your GED test, and we'll set up with you right then and there. So I was right after she said that, maybe like 10 minutes or so, I was like, well, I want to take my GED, I want to take my test. I'm pumped, I'm ready, and they just like kind of just gave me I think you should get like a little bit more time. And I was just like, you just said, like I can take it, and like I'm getting all A's, like I'm just passing everything. Like I was just like, why can't I take it? It's like, and I just kind of like they just kind of killed it. Like I was seconds, like I was wanting to have it,
right?
But they killed it, and so about like 2 weeks. Later, I'm doing like the test, blah blah, and then they come up to me like, I think you're ready, and I'm just like, no, like I told you I was ready, but you said no. So now it's 2 weeks later, I'm passing everything, even though I was already passing it. You're saying I'm ready. You think I'm ready when I said I was ready. So like I lost the interest. So that's when I was like, no, I don't want it, because how you tell someone what they feel, just because I'm in a bunch of like a room with other people who may not seem ready, but you get me lost in the mix of that.
Right.
You know how they say, don't judge a book by its cover? Well, for I don't know how long, my book has been judged for so many times. And one thing I know is I know my book, and that's all it is to it.
You ain't never done anything unless you came from a bad neighborhood or rough.
Yeah, man. I ain't never grew up in Homewood, but I started living here about 4 years ago when everything started. As far as all the fighting and whatnot, but staying here for like 2 years, being here, hearing all the gunshots, like every day. About 6-7 gunshots every day. A couple people get shot, but during the summer though, it was mostly more active. But it's not as bad now. But in the same sense, I don't, stay in the same spot. So, yeah. Yeah, man. I'm a suburban kid. I grew up in Penn Hills, Penn Hills. It wasn't as bad as in Homewood. Penn Hills is like real quiet. I mean, you walk outside, you probably won't see somebody for a good maybe a mile or two. But that's where I grew up, Penn Hills, Pittsburgh, PA. Nice and quiet. But living in Homewood for those 2 years, starting out fighting, I learned a lot as far as just how to kind of survive a little bit, just being used to gunshots. And when I moved to Atlanta and I lived in Bankhead, it was more rougher. But it was no different than Homewood, because everything was just like kind of the same, but I want to say maybe tougher. I couldn't really tell. they had one guy that was like a drug lord that died, like got shot, like probably right on my front step. And my roommate's mom was freaking out, and everybody was just freaking out. I was just like kind of like, just it was kind of not a big deal, but I was just kind of used to it. But yeah, it's not as bad now.
So after high school, you didn't get your GED. Like, what was the next move? Like, what happened next?
Let's see. Well, I already knew I wasn't gonna get it, so I was kind of preparing myself a little for it. I spent time just kind of, and I think it was, I don't know what class it was, but I started reading up on like becoming like a bounty hunter. Since I wasn't gonna have a high school diploma, really wasn't. I wanted to do something kind of more towards football, athletic, physicalness. Since I kind of had that, so I started looking up how to become a bounty hunter, which
Bounty hunter.
it's really called bail enforcement agent, BEA, the technical terms. So after high school, that's when I went back to Pittsburgh. I just kind of looked at some of the states where you can kind of become a bail enforcement agent, and North Carolina was one state where 18, but I have the money. Don't know anybody down there to just become a bounty hunter. So I figured, go back to Pittsburgh. I believe when I looked at the state requirement to what age, I didn't find it, so I figured it was 18, but I found out it was more like 25-ish, 21. I don't know what it was, but
Well, you weren't like while considering this, you weren't like afraid of like the danger or something that might come with that.
oh no, I was just like gung ho about like I said, like after like graduation, I was just kind of impervious to a lot of things. I was just kind of like,
I guess that makes sense.
yeah, it's just I said, hey, why not just do it, I mean, yeah, get shot, all this and that, but I wasn't. I was just kind of. I was basically a new person, and I was like at that little baby stage, so I really wasn't just like thinking about nothing but just doing it, just doing crazy stuff.
Right.
And that was as like extreme as I thought was. So.
Did anything else? Because you said that you had scholarships for what were the two colleges you said?
It was Chattahoochee Tech, and that was it.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Did you because it sounds like you had like a love for sports and football. Was there anything else after high school that you tried to get in with football? I know some people try to.
Well,
figure out,
a friend of mine, he had told me we played our senior high school. He says mentioned about like arena football, trying arena football. So I said, why not? Arena football is more like towards like skill players, not defensive. I was a defensive end as for football, so arena football, trying to be a defensive end it's kind of hard because usually when they hike the ball, they automatically kind of just throw the ball up in the air and just hope for the best. And so there's not a lot of time for like defensive ends to kind of like get like a lot of like exposure as far as like getting sacks and tackles and stuff. But It's still something that I figured I'd try, which I did. And they just kind of like looked down on me.
Yeah.
Well, the main starting player kind of just, saw my age. I was 19 at the time, and everyone else was like 25, 30. And I remember just going against this 7 foot, like 300-pound guy and just kind of blew past him. And everyone's like, oh, how old are you? I'm like, 19. And I'm like, oh, wow, like you're 19? And I'm like, yeah. And I remember the star guy, like, I would have, took his place if I was on the train camp. He was like, oh, you should go back to school. Go back to school. Just don't even work. I don't know, why are you here? Like, basically trying to kind of protect his job a little bit. And then I seen him talk to the coaches, and I'm like, And after the practice, they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll put you on training like list." And I just had a feeling that I was going to just not be on the training squad or whatever. And that's when I started kind of slowly towards like MMA and whatnot. So,
could you tell me about your first fight in that?
first fight, let's see, was I'll never forget the day. It was January 25th, 2013, against Joseph Sadaka, and it was a fight on a I want to say 2 week notice. It was funny how all it like just started. I actually went to a gym. It was called like Penthouse MMA, and I told the main coach or guy there, I was like, I want to fight. And he was like, okay, cool, And then we'll get you a couple amateur fights, and I'm like, oh no, I want to go pro. And he just like looked at me like, pro, like, dude, no, you can't pro. I'm like, well, John Jones went pro. That was like 6 years ago when. Like different, so basically the times has changed and
right.
They regulated everything to amateur and whatnot, so you just can't just jump into pro. And most states, some states you can just jump into pro without no experience, but a lot of states have regulated. But my first fight was kind of like I said, I was still in that like invincible, can't like be hurt kind of phase. And
were you nervous at all?
Actually,
going into it, the build up to it as
no,
well.
I was excited. I actually did like a little like a video blog of like the whole process a little bit. It was just kind of I had my brother film it, and I just kind of hype myself up and just kind of it's just like I kind of overestimated it. But even though like I just like after this fight. I'm about to, sign with this manager and this and that, I'm be a pro in like 3 months, try to be the next John Jones or whatever. But
did you win your fight?
No, I lost the second round. Like a lot of people were kind of surprised because that was my first fight, but it didn't, look like it was my first fight, even though it's just how aggressive and just how focused I was, I didn't so everyone's like, well, what was going through your mind? I'm like, nothing. It's just fight. I already had my toughness from football, so fighting just was trivial. It wasn't bad, especially amateur because you can't kick, can't elbow, so it's just boxing and wrestling. So it's like really no danger at that that level. So and but I didn't train as much, so I got submitted, and it was just something new. Like I never would kind of prepare myself for, and that's lack of training what happened. So that's how I lost, But standing up while fighting, I did pretty good. But so that's how everything my MMA kind of kicked off.
So you got linked up with X3 Sports? Is that the name?
Yeah, but that was I didn't actually. That was about. My first year was 2010. I didn't actually go to X3 until I was 21. So that was 19, about to turn 20. So a year after that. So the next year around August, that's when I actually started getting affiliated with them and start training with them and like Clint Hester and whatnot.
Was that around the time when you had went pro?
I had went pro that year.
Okay.
And November. I went pro. It was in November. I know it was in November. It was on a Indian tribal land type of. It was the same. It was in Connecticut. Connecticut or Rhode Island, one of those two. But it was one of the states where you can just go pro out, and that's how I went pro. So I didn't really do the. I actually kind of had I think after my first fight, I asked the commissioner. Fighting athletic commissioner of Pennsylvania. I was like, well, how many fights do I gotta do to turn pro? He was like, well, you gotta have at least 5 fights and with a winning record or something like that. But I kind of missed the winning record part. So when I had got 5 fights, well, no, it was 3 fights or something like that. It was 3 fights with a winning record. after I had my third fight, I'm like, can I turn pro? They're like, well, no, you lost. Like those two, I only had one. So I'm like, you gotta win a few more. I'm like, ah, man. Well, football has to be one of my biggest passions that I have ever done in my life, other than video games being the first. But football is definitely up there. Do I miss playing football? Of course. Shoot, man. I had so many good memories. Made a lot of good friends. You know, football was life at one time. But now I got a different life. So it is what it is.
So X3 Gym, how did you get introduced to that? Like, how did you find out? How did you find it?
Well, I actually I would say it was obviously Clint Hester, a UFC fighter, but before him, there was a guy named Doug Usher who I think fought my second pro fight. I lost to, but he told me next time I was in Georgia, I should hit him up and we'll train. And so I needed a place to train, and it was one Saturday, and we went to, I think, Marietta, Georgia. It was at X3's Marietta location gym, and that's when I met Clint, and that's when we had like a little training with his wrestling coach, John Leveron. And after the whole training session, he gave me a ride and just said if I need a place to train or something like that, he would take me to like his gym that was across the street from where he lived at the time.
Well, what was going through your mind? Because Clint Hester's a UFC fighter. Like, what was going through your mind, like meeting one and him offering this opportunity to you? Someone who you see on TV who's doing it, and you're trying to get there. What was that like?
It was funny because I didn't know who Clint Hester was, but after I seen him, he looked familiar because he was on. I think at that time I never watched any of the Ultimate Fighters really, or I have, but there was only one that I loved the most. It was the one with John Jones was coaching against Chael Sonnen, and Clint Hester was on there, and I just remember they was just saying, "Oh, he's so powerful," and I remember he just did a kick that was like really powerful, but I didn't really watch the show as far as like the results of him and like all the other fights, but I just knew that he was there. But when I first met him, I was like, "What was a UFC fighter?" Like it was kind of.
It was just all the same.
A little crazy. I was like, okay, UFC fighter is pretty awesome, and just training with him. It's just like the size difference is just like whoa, like oh okay. I guess with the UFC fighter it's like big, but after training with him and stuff like that, I kind of get used to it, and just I trained with a few other UFC fighters, and it just became second nature. You know, we just kept. We actually became like real cool, like brothers. Like, so it was kind of really good.
Okay. Is in terms of like idols, or if you have any like motivations in terms of fighting, is there anyone in particular? You brought up John Jones. Is that someone who like you idolize?
Yeah. I mean, like basically, if it wasn't for John Jones, I wouldn't be fighting. I mean,
Right.
he kind of, because after the training camp, I actually seen. So I don't know what I seen, what I saw, or something like that. I looked at it like a magazine, and I guess it was like he was in it, and he was just like doing something for like Butt Light or something like that. And he had made a little article and quote something about 90%. Fighting is 90% mental and 10% physical, and so I was just like, okay, and I looked him up, and I was just like, well, and then I found out like he was, I think started when he was 20 or 19, one of those, and
Around your age.
yeah,
Okay.
and he had won like 6 fights in 3 months or so, and got into the UFC and became like the youngest light heavyweight champion. And I just looked at his frame, and we were both like the same height. And he said I was just kind of a little bit bigger. Like his age, I was kind of more bigger, and just seeing how like skinny he was, it's like, well, if he could do it, I could do it. Why not?
Right.
Like, and I did football, he did wrestling, so the toughness levels was kind of like almost similar a little bit. So
Right.
I was just like, well, if he did it, I definitely could do it. But before then, it was just UFC fighting. It's just kind of like crazy because before him, it was the whole Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, Rampage, like Tio Ortiz kind of like era where everybody was just like savages, kind of crazy. So it was really
Right.
but
So,
yeah.
so I want to move back onto the X3 gym and that experience because I feel there's so much there. When you got your first fight with them, like was the feeling a little different, like fighting under a gym with Clint Hester kind of behind you, and like was there more pressure? Was there anything different, even the training, the getting there?
Well, let's see. Actually, I had a informal kind of fight for X3 when I started training there. I already had a fight lined up, so I was getting trained. I was training there, and the head coach didn't want me to fight, but it was already, I was already gonna fight. It is what it is, and Clint was like, I think he was the one that cornered me. I won second round TKO, and it was good, and that's when I kind of signed to X3, and I had my first fight with them probably a year later, and I want to say a year later. I don't know. It was like around like August, something around there. And I lost, but that was my first fight with them. It was after a year later, but
So your relationship with X-Ray Gym grew unanimously with Clint Hester being there, and there's so much going on. Do you still have that same drive from then to till now? That same connection?
well, actually, I got more involved with X3 when I needed a job at the time, and that's when I became a kickboxer instructor. Primarily what I thought, and it was that plus being a personal trainer everything was fairly new to me. So I kind of committed most of my time trying to be the best kickboxer, personal trainer, and it's just that's where most of my time went towards them.
So while I'm thinking about this and all these great things going on, in terms of living, were you with your sister down in Georgia the entire time, or because you did say that you guys would butt heads a little bit and things would get a little difficult. How long did did the personal life outside of fighting before the study classes took on?
Well, actually, it was I was staying with my sister first. Then when I started training with Clint and stuff like that, just him just taking me wherever he was, training. I just kind of grown fond of like just being around with him, and I would, crash at his house, and saying it was cool and whatnot. So after a while, I was just like, mind if I just stay here and just crash here and basically just move my stuff and like just crash on the couch and pay a little like rent here and there, and just kind of stay over here. So I left my sister's house, and after a while he wanted to move to Miami, and he didn't want to like split the apartment. There was another roommate there, and I guess he wasn't going to like. Long story short, basically, he was just going to just leave the apartment. So while he was still in Miami, I was like still in the apartment, even though he kind of his lease was up,
Right.
but I guess like 30 days before they actually locked it up and whatnot. So I was still staying there, and I was using my friend's car at the time that he let me use to cover his classes and help me get around, but mainly just to cover his classes. So I was there was like I think I had got locked out one day, but luckily I had got all like my stuff.
Right.
And I had just been like kind of crashing in the car, and then I actually got bought a public storage, and I was kind of staying.
So you were essentially homeless.
Yeah, basically, I was like homeless. I would stay in like the public storage that I bought. Well, tomorrow starts the journey. Close out, man. Yep. Solitude.
How did that, if you don't mind me asking, like, what was the emotional impact of that whole thing, or was it just kind of like,
I mean,
emotion?
It wasn't. It was just. It wasn't emotional. It was just. It is what it was. I mean, I wasn't gonna go back to my sister. It's like something I couldn't just go back. I don't think we ended on bad terms, but it's just that I wasn't gonna just go back and live there. So I just wanted to just kind of like, this is my bed. I'm gonna lay in it. So, I stayed at the public stores, and then I started staying at like the gym.
Oh, you stayed in the gym.
Yeah, I would just stay like after nights, like in the yoga room and whatnot. Just then after a while, my coach, I kind of told my coach, or I had a tent, and it was underneath like the gym steps and whatnot, and they was wondering like, whose tent is this? And I'm just just in the crowd like, yeah, whose tent is that? Like,
yeah, you're just watching, like, discovering your home.
Yeah, like I'm just like, whose tent is that? Like that's a crazy person. Really, like.
Did you actually ever get a chance to sleep in the tent and actually enjoy?
No, actually, no. When I set up the tent, it wasn't as comfortable, and it was really, it wasn't structured right, so it was just like kind of collapsed, and it was just, so it was big. The tent was bigger than the crevice, so
okay.
Like the rods started breaking, and I was just like, well, I think I probably spent one night. It wasn't that long, and it was just, but it never really worked out. So I just tried to suck up, be in the gym. I didn't like being in the gym because they had this alarm where it went off, and it's just like, it just gave me like chills. It's just like I was it was like so loud, like the tongue, like it felt like my soul was on my tongue, like it was that loud. And it's just like, no cops never came, but it's just like freaked me out. Just being in the gym all dark. And then, I think at the time I watched Paranormal Activity. And so I already kind of had the height and fear, like just being in the back of the gym. And so if anything was to happen, alarm, like, you know, whenever the alarm would like go off, like I can't really just rush to the front because it's like, well, I don't see, you know, if someone was there. I mean, it's kind of hard to like to feel myself to try to, because the alarm, you have to be in the front of the building to deactivate it. And it was just like, just so much, like, I'm not afraid of the dark, but the alarm just made everything just
it really, that was him set off your nerves, and that's the one where you probably want to.
Yeah, I mean, my sister
for a while.
My sister would like just pull me up to the gym, and I would just look at it, just like, yep, gotta swallow that pill again.
Storm here with championship rounds, and we're at Top Alliance Combat 3, and this man right here, Chaz the Gladiator Dowdell, got the job done against his opponent tonight. Sir, walk us through what went on in your fight.
There's a bear. You can deal with that. You're welcome.
Making our way to the entrance.
Yeah, say a little louder.
Making the entrance to the fight.
Alright, just now walking in.
Here's the stage.
You learn things from your losses.
Yeah.
And you've learned a lot, and now you got Clint Hester in your corner.
Yeah.
The head busser.
Yeah.
How was that?
You know, it's cool. Like right now, like at first, when I first started training with him, it's kind of like, oh wow, like I'm training with a UFC fighter. But then it's like when you be with him like around like almost all the time, it's like you're your friend.
Right, and everybody's trying to make everybody better. You know, you're probably trying to make Clint better as well. And what's the future entail for you, bro?
A lot of hard work, many more fights.
We in here relaxing before the fight. If I had some weed, I'd have rolled up and started smoking. Backstage shit. See me, my motherfucking with the costume on, the Pharaoh costume supporting. What's up?
You do know you're recording me, but that's cool. I'm about to go change into my, shorts, but there ain't no one here around. I still can't believe how we're gonna fit 12 people in there. And the red team's on that side, I'm about to in about half an hour put some music in, get you know what I'm saying? Research, study, blah blah blah, do my thing. It's about to get real out here, man. UFC is real, son. It's real out here.
Got any shout outs you want to make to any of your sponsors or any affiliates out there?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Your Fight. They sponsored me with a brand new walkout t-shirt, the Gladiator. If no one knew, yes, I'm the Gladiator. TG.
Oh, right there, man.
See? And I want to give a shout out to Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA.
Okay, yeah.
412.
412.
No matter how far I am, I'm always going to represent my city.
Now, how do you like your experience with TAC? What does it mean to you as far as your career goes?
TAC, I like it. I came down here. I didn't know about TAC. They actually hit me up on Facebook.
Okay.
And they said, you want to fight? I said, sure. I didn't know there was enough promotion other than Wild Bills.
Oh, yeah, there's a new one in town.
Yeah, it was a new one in town, and I kind of like the venue.
Well, fans, you're going to follow this man, Chaz the Gladiator Dowdell.
On Twitter.
On Twitter. What's your Twitter?
Twitter, CDowdell42. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Chaz the Gladiator page. Like it, follow, do what you got to do. Social media.
Cage Side Submissions, you're going to follow them. Follow us, Championship Rounds, and TAC-MMA.com. You're going to want to do that because TAC is where it's at.
Yeah.
Chase Owens, K-side immediately. Chase Owens, please report K-side immediately. is Ron Rossitano. Tonight's judges for the event.
So you were in the gym, and you're staying in there. So how long did that last? I mean, I don't know if it's lasted forever. I mean, what was the next move? Like, did you stay in there even longer, or?
No, actually, it's my coach had found out. Well, I had told my coach that I was staying there, and he kind of like pieced the puzzles and kind of made sense a little bit. And so he was telling me I can't like stay there, just collateral, just being liability of if anything was to happen, I would, be a victim or whatever the case may be. So he I couldn't really stay there as much, so he was offering me to like stay at his house, and I didn't really want to. Just cause like pride or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and so I told him I'd rather stay homeless or whatnot, and he was just oh no, I can't let you like stay homeless, and we was trying going like kind of back and forth for a little bit, and then he was like, well, if you're gonna work for me, then you gotta have like your own, like some type of place to stay. Like I wouldn't feel right. And he's like, if you want to be homeless, then I can't give you the job, or can't keep letting you work for me.
Right.
And so I need the money, so I mean I ain't have no place to be, so it's all right. It's just I'll come live, stay in this place and whatnot. So I did.
And what was that like? Like, what was this?
I mean, it was cool. It was I mean, he had a nice house. It was, I think
he's the owner, right? Like or is he just the like is he the owner or everything, or what does he do exactly? You said he's coach, right? Is he like the owner though of anything, or is he just
for the gym?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the co-owner of the X3 Sports.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his house is nice. It was probably Sandy Springs, somewhere like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was about maybe a couple miles away, maybe 6, 7. I don't know. It was not that far from the gym, but it had a nice house, nice car. It was him, his wife, and his daughter, and they had a spare bedroom down in the garage, and they had the upstairs. So I mainly stayed in the spare room most of the time. So, but yeah, it was pretty good.
That's good. So I assume eventually you got out of there, and you're working shifts there, and then you got your own place.
Well, I probably I'll stay in there for like a month. Just being there, just learn like different like culinary like little stuff, like how to eat healthy and just how to cook and such and such. And that's when I started kind of eating a little bit better. But after like a month of being there, it was January, so February, I had work on trying to get like an apartment, and I found like one that was like $500 a month, or no, $550 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. And I'm not from Atlanta, so I was like, oh, that's awesome. $550 for 2 bedrooms, that's a steal. That's nothing. And I think water was included, so it's just like, okay, it's pretty good. And it was on Hollywood Road, or Hollywood Drive, Hollywood Road, or something like that. And I was just like, and I was telling everyone like at the job, I was like, I just got this apartment on Hollywood Road, and everybody's like, that's why it's like that cheap, because Hollywood Road. I'm like, what's Hollywood Road? I don't know what's Hollywood Road. So when I had called like an appointment to like the apartment complex to meet with the lady, and when we got there, it was just like, oh, okay, I see why it's like kind of like, it wasn't as bad, but when you're in the leasing office and the leasing lady is kind of like typing you in, about to get you like finalized for your apartment, and then you hear, like a couple having sex or
Oh, it's like that over there.
or just like the next door, because the walls are thin. The leasing office is in the apartment, so it's just like I'm sitting here and my friend's sitting here and like the leasing lady's sitting there. And it's just this moaning noises, and I'm just like looking at him. He's just looking at his phone. I was like, okay. Like to me, I'm just like, okay. So we're just gonna sit here and just pretend like these noises are not happening.
Like for her, it's just all regular. It's like, oh, it's just a normal occurrence.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, yeah. So I see why it's like this. How much it is. So
Was the location bad at all? Like, is it like a good location, or is there kind of like?
No, it was bad. It's in Bankhead. So Bankhead is like, it's not the best place, but where I was at was actually at the edge of Bankhead. So it was I didn't live that far from like till you were out of it. So, but at that place it was like pretty bad. I mean, I think someone had got shot and killed, like probably right.
It's a dangerous location.
Yeah, it was like shootings like every night around like 10, started at 9 o'clock till, you know, if you was out there, you're probably, you know, just in trouble. But yeah, some I think Kingpin or something like that got shot and killed. Like maybe, I was on the second floor, and we had like a little spiral type staircase, and he probably died maybe apartment over, so he wasn't that far.
And this is like all within like the same time of you moving in and like and everything.
Yeah, this was after a month.
Wow.
Like, I had got my door kicked, like my back door kicked in.
That must have been terrifying.
You know, it was funny because I was actually on my way to the gym, and right before I left, I said I was going to leave a little bit later because I was playing my game, and I just heard this loud banging noise, and I'm like, where's this coming from? And I'm looking out front door, I'm like, it's not here, and then I look at the back door, I'm like, oh, you know, where's it coming from? And I heard it again. So then I was just like kind of sitting out here looking, and it's just boom, boom, like this bottom half of my back door is just like kicked in, like something you see from like Next Friday.
That's awful.
And it was just like a bunch of little kids who was about to crawl under, and I was just like, hey, you know, they just ran. And
These are
like,
kids?
I don't know. It was just, I seen like kind of legs. So, what? I was just like, oh, okay. So somebody tried to, you know, break in. So, so they tried to, you know, to break in. So like I had that, and the guy died. So it was like, it wasn't that bad. So
break-in, a guy died. Did the area ever get a little bit better, or is it just that was just like the bar set?
Yeah,
until you got out.
After the guy died, you know, like when you got someone that had a $50,000, you know, like a price tag on his head and then died, you know, everyone kind of, you know, starts to move out and kind of, you know, stop shooting as much. So it kind of, you know, died down a little bit, but it kind of picked up like a year later. Look, it's still not as bad as it initially was, but so. But yeah, it was interesting. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't something I wasn't new to, because I mean, in Pittsburgh, I'm kind of like lived in, you know, Homewood, like kind of little places where people get shoot.
Kind of like a similar location.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't as bad. So
did at any point you said, "Wow, I'd rather be back being homeless than to be stuck here where my life is potentially at danger or anything?"
No.
But
I just like I know I live in the hood. I mean, I just like it could be as bad as it could be, but you know, I just mind my own business. If you know, if I get shot, then you know it is what it is. That's how I kind of see it was. So it's like if I was to get shot, then it's time for me to get shot. So but I'm not going to let that kind of, you know. I need a place to stay, so it is what it is. So I know I'm smart enough to know not to, you know, go out winter shooting and kind of, you know, win. So yeah, it wasn't as bad.
So in the midst of all this, where did the movies kick in? You know, when did the ideas to become a director, actor, screenplay writer? When did all this start?
I actually the year before that, I had wrote my first like screenplay, just like when I was on set, and I had a lot of people saying like, "Oh, you should definitely direct it yourself or film it." I was like, "Yeah." How I wrote it was kind of too structured, and the content of it was too. It was too futuristic, kind of like for budget wise. You couldn't just like film it because in LA it's just a whole bunch of different places, so it was nothing I could just film.
What was the name? The name of this?
It was Lewis Wright.
Lewis Wright.
Yep, Lewis Wright. But I didn't become. I just like the whole director thing. It just kind of came, and I was talking to this one female at the time, and she kind of she didn't last. That's all I can say. She it didn't pan out. But I remember one thing she says. Because she found out I didn't have my diploma, and I was like, and she said something like, "Oh, well, you know you can't date me if you don't have your diploma." I'm like I was devastated. I was just like, wow, like you're pulling that card, like so it's like, so and she said something where, how would you start a business, like if you don't have a diploma, how you going to start a business if you want one? And I'm just sitting there like, I don't need a diploma to like start a business, like, because she was assuming that get loans and stuff like that, start a business. I'm like, like if I don't have the money, then I don't have the money to start a business. Simple as that. Yeah. I mean, if you want to do loans and all that, I mean that's go for it. That for me, it's just if I don't have it, I don't have it. Because you got loans, you got to pay back interest, and a lot of things, like a lot of times where if you get like a lot of money, you kind of forget and you overspend what you need to spend, right? And then you just end back owing too much. And it's like kind of digs a deeper hole and whatnot. But she said that later December, I had wrote up another like screenplay, and I started like kind of like filming it. Or I established Dowdell Productions in October, and that's when I started, filming some of Dead Sentence. Huh. And that's when I started kind of becoming like a little director and whatnot, just the whole getting more into the filming industry. So it was just something my friend Clint had told me, and it's just like, well, why not? Like I'll just write up another script, which is not hard for me to do. So, but that's how it happened for that.
Okay.
Nights like these, it always reminds me that I'm still human. Long nights always makes me come back to reality. During the day, I just feel like invincible. But when it comes to nighttime, everything just sets in. It's real slow. My first fight was January 25th, 2013. Never forget the date. It was a 2-week notice, short notice, and I just came from my gym up in MMA, where I was advised and recommended that I take 6 months of training and personal training to get considered an amateur fight when I really wanted to be pro. At the time, I didn't have a job and I couldn't afford it, so I actually called up a promoter and asked to fight. I told him I didn't have a record. I was brand new. I was 19 at the time. Just did football, so I had my toughness factor in a lot. So I wasn't really worried about being hurt. He set me up with an amateur fight against Joseph Sadaka, and I said, yeah, sure. Won the first round, but the second round I caught a rear naked choke, something I was very unfamiliar with. So was my body, because I was still new to the sport. A lot of people were just surprised that that was my first fight, but after that, I started training more more seriously.
So the movie. So after you were working on the script and everything, and you took care of that part. So when it came to the structuring for the movie and like putting it together, like tell me about the process you went through with that, and like how much did it cost you to put out the shoot?
Well, to actually put out the whole movie itself, like as far as like releasing, it was probably about 400, just because it was 200 for just the platform to release it on. To actually film it with the I had the camera, which I used the iPhone. I think what model was a 6, and this what was it called? An anamorphic adapter.
Okay.
It's like it's some type of adapter. It was like $280, but it was part of the first movie I was shooting's budget, so I didn't include it to this one.
The first movie being Dead Sentence.
Yeah,
Okay.
which actually is kind of delayed right now because like just technical, just lost all the footage on it, so I had to kind of reshoot it. But it's kind of, it's like iffy because one, there's no more footage, and so
Yeah.
and I actually kind of sent a synopsis on it to the agent. So maybe it gets picked up. If not, oh well, I'll just reshoot it another time. So, but to actually film like the shoot was like $40, and that's just me just getting to like the place to shoot it.
How did you find your actors? How did you find people who were willing to work with that?
It was actually just actually just came up with like the whole idea just at work. I was just like working in a laundry hotel, and I was just kind of kept complaining, just like, man, if I had every day, like all day to just like film, like I would get the filming done within like a week or 2 weeks, like easy. And that's why I just started like, well, Clerks made like something similar, and that's where I just kind of like started wrote up like like a screenplay or a script of the movie, and the actors were actually kind of employees I work with. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's where.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah, so that's why I just kind of had the whole entire just ideas, just like, all right, it's based off like a true story, but still fictional. So it's just like the real like brothers, but I just wrote like a story like tandem to it. So, and it came out good. There's a lot of moments where it it was like kind of like trying to coach, but then it's just like, all right, we'll just keep it, just throw that, just because of the time, and like I was running out of time. So
plus, like the actors, they weren't like actors.
They were no one
people.
Yeah, no one acted before except for one who was actually like I think we'll say like an aspiring actress, but the rest didn't then none of them were actors. So, and I was kind of coaching them, trying to show them how to do it, and the time was kind of being cut like a little bit short because I was trying to do a lot of other things like a red carpet event and just like a little premiere, but it was just like kind of teaching them, trying to show them how understand that like I was under a lot of time. I had to get it shot, so it got really late, and I just had to use the shots that I had and just put it together. I had one scene where the whole one side shot was kind of muted by just audio wise, and I didn't know it. And then when I went to the computer, I was like, oh, this is kind of muffled. So I was like, I don't have time to go reshoot it, so I'm just gonna just leave it at that. So, but it wasn't meant to be perfect. So
and it was your first, right?
Yeah, first.
This is your first time doing all and getting it out there, especially for your actor. They have no previous background, so it's really organic from what I've seen.
Yeah, everything's just it's just, it wasn't hard. The angles, it's just like it was kind of easy. It was pretty good. $40 just to make the whole film, but just the extra money where the $400 would kick in would just be the platform, the editing software, and the posters and whatnot for just promotional wise, and that's about it. So.
Well, do you have any other projects that you're trying to put together after the shoot? You're putting together maybe a shoot too?
Yeah, there's actually I'm filming a sequel to it. The shoot 2 is actually going to follow up. Not the main actors, but the one of the supporting actors that I play, Cooper Ray, and it's following his story. So the whole shoot is kind of tandem to my original screenplay, which is about 6 or 7 sequels, and those are like my main like movies, and which I'm turning to books, but they're all connected to that. So there's a sequel which will be connected to those main movies, because it's actually the time where they meet up, and he tells them, I work at a hotel or something like that. So that's where the shoot and the shoot 2 comes in play. Okay. So, yeah, I'm working on the sequel, and I'm actually working on a spinoff called the Five and Dime, which stars like Cooper Ray, which is basically him, in transition, about to go back on tour, but he comes back home to Pittsburgh, where he went to college for fraternity, and he's there for 2 weeks, and it's just a lot of little misadventures with his former frat brother, and so I'm working on that one, and then obviously documentary. Mm-hmm. So
it sounds like you have a lot on your plate right now.
Yeah. So
do you feel stressed at all with all this going on? Do you have like any high expectations that you're setting for yourself? Any goals that you?
Yeah, actually, I set to go 4 movies for this whole year. So from this January to end of like December, and just basically 4 movies, 500,000, which is just 4 movies made, and then have them all like combined gross of 500,000 at least. So it's just nice little goal to just keep like
That's
pushing
some big numbers you're putting up there.
Well, yeah, when you kind of look at like back in the day when like Clerks, they make $3 million off of a black and white, but it's different times, and the internet wasn't really as popular now, so it's kind of not as easy as it is. But it's a little learning process, but still at least want to get half the goal for movies, which I should have.
Okay, that's quite really nice. So I mean, you'd probably have to give this all up to God, right? All the all the so many blessings.
I mean, I would say that. I mean, there was a time. There was a time where I was, I could like be that religious, and God. I'm not saying my religion is not like I'm not Christian no more. So I converted over to Buddhism this past February. Just because it just felt like more in tune, like it was just more understanding. And it's just kind of like when I found out like what my sign was, and it's just like kind of reading into that. It's just like that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Right. Same thing with Buddhism. It's just the understanding and of everything, and that's how I just like that's how I want to like live my life. Is just kind of be more of a non-biased and just kind of just in between neutral type of feeling. Just kind of just living life and not trying to be so much focused into praising and ask praise to God, like pray for this, pray for that. It's just something I wasn't really good at, to ask or pray for something, and you don't really go to church, or you don't pray on daily. It's kind of like asking for something from somebody, and you're not really going to return the favor. Like, have you ever just sit there and just everything around you. I mean, it's pretty interesting. It all depends on the type of mindset you have. One of my favorite quotes of all time came from a movie called Tokyo Drift, and the character Han, he had said, "You make choices and you don't look back on them." That gotta be the most driving quote you can ever hear, especially when you're living a life like mine.
So, how has Buddhism affected your family and your lifestyle? Whenever they found out, did it affect your mother as well? If anything?
My mom knows. She kind of just like she has her own little way of like seeing it. She kind of initially when she first found out, she was kind of, "Hey, let's go to church."
Mm.
I was just like, "Why?" I'm sorry, but you know that I'm doing Buddhism, but that's okay. I mean, not to say Buddhists can't like go to church, but it's just I'm okay. I'm feel comfortable.
Right.
So I've yet to try to go to a temple, which is like where it's like where Buddhism like goes.
Like a church or a...
Yeah. Just like a temple where everyone kind of like does like a little group meditation type thing. It's kind of a little interesting. I want to partake in. So, but
No. Now, I remember earlier you brought up about like discussions and such. Like, has anyone ever tried to challenge your views on Buddhism at all, or
challenge?
Criticize your choices for it, like outside of family?
No.
No.
Actually, I put it on Facebook, but I had like one or two people kind of just, they're like, "Oh, well, Jesus Christ, I'm like, that's all right. Well, mine's the Dharma, the Buddha." And I think they said, "I'm sorry to hear that."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I mean, you don't have to be sorry. I mean, it's just I have my, that's if I was to go Muslim. It's like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't have to be Christian or this. So
with your childhood and just like with who you are, your personality, do you remember any like significant events that kind of felt you were separated from everyone else in terms of like how you see things? You know what I mean?
But what do you mean, like it's just as far as like who I am now? It's just like how I progressed to that.
Right, like you kind of felt like you were meant for more than kind of what you're given.
Well, yeah, I would say it probably started when I was about. I was young. I was always active, just like do a lot of things, and all the way up to about 8th grade, maybe 9th grade, I was kind of more just like before that point, I was just on autopilot. So that's the time where none of my like common sense kind of kicked in. So I was just kind of do stuff that people would say like, "Oh, that's just like idiotic. Why would you do that?" Like it's kind of stuff like being destructive, or jumping off roofs, trying to doing all this stuff where it's just like, "Oh, hey, do that," and I'm like, "Sure, why not?" And I don't see the problem in it. I mean, honestly, I still don't believe I have my legs. I mean, I jumped off a story like rooftop, and everyone's like, "Jump, jump, jump," and I'm just like, I stand on top of it. I'm like, well, if they're telling me to jump, so it must be okay. They don't want to see me hurt. that's what was kind of going in my head. It's just like, and I look at it, I'm like, well, it's not that far. This is before all like knowing the laws of physics and everything. So, I did the jump, and it's just like, oh, I'm still in the air. After like 1 second, I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, I didn't get hurt, but it's just I was on autopilot and stuff like that. But about like 8th and 9th grade, that's when I started kind of realizing certain people around me was kind of influencing me, just kind of, you know, it was swaying me. It was kind of breaking me out of this little like a line, you know.
Right.
And it's kind of like, I wouldn't say not wake me up yet, but it was just kind of like, well, you can do this. Because before it's just like, you know, my mom's just, well, you just go to school. Because before that it's just like, you just go to school, get a job, and you know, that's it. So it's just like, well, I don't like going to school.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, like 7th grade, 8th grade, I probably missed like about 180 days. Just like, just a lot of schools just missed. It's like, I don't feel like going to school. It's no negative about it. But around 8th grade, 9th grade, that's when I started getting like a mentor, who was like my teacher, who became just like a mentor, like kind of like a father figure, kind of.
So like guidance.
Yeah, basically. And he was just kind of like, whatever he would teach me, I could just learn instantly. Well, not instantly, but he could break it down to a point
Stuck
where,
better.
yeah. If I didn't know it, he'll break it down. If I still didn't know, he'll keep breaking it down to it's like at the root. And once I started to know it, it was way easier for me just to quickly learn and like just do it, because I know how to do it now.
Right.
And I kind of just like, you know, just took that and like all the stuff that I would probably do, like I said, I wanted to do football or something like that. He was just kind of just like, all right, well, we gotta get you, you know, working out. You know, gotta get you big. You gotta, you know, work hard. You know, this not
Like a big time motivation.
Yeah, like it was just kind of guiding me. Like whatever I wanted to kind of do, like he was just like back me up 100%. Okay. And it was just something that I wasn't really, you know,
like
kind of yeah, because it was just, like I'm used to my mom, and like it was just, people just tell me like, well, you gotta go, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, without really any explanation to it. And like he just kind of broke it down, made me like it was easier for me to learn, and I you know, I still talk to him like to this day. You know, whenever I'm like in Pittsburgh, I'll try to like, you know, go to the high school and, you know, just like hang out with him and stuff like that. So, you know, we always keep in touch. But around 8th grade, 9th grade, that's when I started to be like more like common sense, kind of just like figure out like who like I am a little bit. And because I was probably around like 7th grade, I started hanging with my brother, and he had older friends. Right. 2 years older than me, so his friends about like same age. So I was always kind of like the younger brother tag along, basically. And I always go with them to parties, and you know, whatever they did, I did. You know, drink. You know, I drink. Not supposed to, but you know. Yeah. I basically idolized my brother. Right. Like whatever he did, I did. He sold candy in high school. I started selling candy. So like everything he did, I was starting to do. But when I started to kind of like realize that I needed to kind of stop falling a little bit, was when I started asking him like advice like for females and whatnot. You know, it was bad. I mean, I was like, well, how do you go and like what do you say to a female? Like, you know, I know you say, hey, what's up, but then what's that? And then he would just say like, no, you just gotta go up to a girl and just like, you know, hey, let it be, you know, be word and stuff like that. And then it's just like, at a point where I was just like, man, that might actually work. But then after like asking him multiple times, I never did that. But it's just like after multiple times, you know, like years progressed, you know, when I was like 16, and then he kept saying like, you just gotta say yo chick, like, you know, give me your number. I'm like, nah, that's not gonna work. Right. And that's when I was like, yeah, like
that's when
I just gotta
common sense.
Yeah, that's when I just gotta be like my own person, because I did the whole party and smoking, drinking, all that like when I was like 14. Did that for like a few years. The smoking only lasted for a month. Had like a 3-day headache. It was just a bad experience. All the times I drank, I always remember like what happened. With smoking, to this day, it's just like a blackout. Like it's just, we'll walk around and everything just goes black. And dapping random people up, hearing voices, and I wake up at KFC. Like, and I just got like a puke, and like I get home, I barely get up. It was just like a mess. But when I was like 16, I had went to Atlanta for like 2 3 years, and I came back. and I reconnected with my brother, and I was just like, and he's like, I haven't seen you in so long, bro. You gotta get a drink with us. I'm like, yeah, and it's just like, all right, I get the feel everyone is, I'm a different person. I haven't drunk or did anything like that in like 3 years, and it was just like I was drinking and nothing kind of changed, and just drinking. I was just like, it's not for me. It's
Right.
like I'm not going to try and do this all over, trying to learn, like try to get my body adjusted to drinking and whatnot. And it's just like, nah, I'm all right. So. My life is just it's crazy. That's all I can say. And it's just gonna get even more crazier. My life is like it's like an adventure, and I don't want to stop. I'm just going to keep going and going until I don't know. One thing I do know is that nothing can take away all the priceless moments that I occur during this adventure, this journey. I'm enjoying my life. That's all there is to it, really. Good, bad, all there is to it is just living your life, man. And that's what I'm doing. And if anyone has a problem with that, I mean, that's cool. But I'm staying in my own lane, and that's that.
So, what are your interests? Games? Or are you an active gamer?
Oh, I'm a gameaholic, man.
Gameaholic.
That's my number one addiction. That's the only thing I'm addicted to. I mean, everyone has their own addictions. Everyone has their weed, their alcohol. Their females. Mine is just games and doing crazy stuff. That's games can sustain me for like I could be in the house for like a whole entire week.
Yeah.
Without even like.
Never look outside once.
No.
No lighting around.
Like literally, I probably stayed in the house for like a month. I came outside, my whole eyes just had to like kind of readjust.
So,
I mean,
all right. So red, blue, green, yellow, purple, black. Which one would you go with?
Actually, it's kind of funny. Actually, I think my first original favorite color was blue, and then it went to red. And I changed it because it was of a female.
So you said tripping.
No. It was blue, then it was red. Then I changed it to orange. And then I changed it again because it was female related. And then I just changed it to like just black and white.
Well, it sounds like a son of a shepherd. I'll tell you that much. Females. Any particular types? Are you a type kind of guy, or are they all one and the same for you?
Actually, I do actually have a preference. Actually, I mean, I'm more keen to being attracted to brown skin, light skinned females. But not to say I won't like date like a dark skin or white female, but it's just I'm more inclined to. That's a preference.
Yeah.
So, a average brown skin or light skinned female will be more attractive than the average black or white girl. But
right.
yeah.
So foods, Chinese, Italian, Middle Eastern foods. Any
What?
Any food preferences?
Wait, no, what was that last one? Middle Eastern shrimp?
Yeah, like Middle Eastern food, you know.
Shrimp food?
Huh?
You said Middle Eastern?
Middle Eastern.
Oh, okay. No. I would say all time Chinese.
Yeah.
Asian. Like it's so weird. Like my whole everything's like Asian oriented. It's weird. Like I really have like a high fascination with like Asian, like just whole like Oriental like artifacts and stuff like that. Just the food, like the culture, and it's kind of it's funny because I'm like more like Buddhism,
Right.
and my favorite food is like Chinese foods, and I actually kind of want like my house like built as with a front gate and like this whole just it's just zen. It's so calming to me.
Maybe have like a little waterfall and like some bamboo.
Yeah, actually, I thought about just having like the insides of like the house with just like a waterfall with like steps like leading up to like the second floor. It's kind of like a little blueprint that I'm still putting in the works, but it's something that'll be awesome to have.
Any favorite childhood TV shows?
Curse of College. Actually, yeah, Curse of College League, dog. Yeah, how I would say.
Superheroes. Any?
Superhero.
Anything?
Hellboy.
Hellboy. That's a new one.
Yep, I got Hellboy. I got the HB on my arm. Hellboy.
Okay. Well, since we're on the topic of tattoos, are you considering any new ones?
Yeah, I'm actually getting my whole back tattoo, just with it's my new stage name. It's Rudy Arias, and I'm gonna get that tattoo on my back.
Pretty cool.
And then I'm probably gonna have to get my family like a little crest on my right chest, and then whenever I have a wife and kids on my other chest. But so.
Okay. Music preferences.
Music preferences. A$AP Rocky. I mean, A$AP Rocky, or you just saying like.
Let's start with like a genre.
Genre.
And then we'll shoot straight to your particular artist or artists.
Honestly, I think I like classical music. You know, like if
Frank
I'm
Sinatra.
really, yeah, like Frank Sinatra, Louis Armstrong, like kind of stuff like that. Like real, like just more like back in the day. But like as far as hip hop, I love like just like the old hip hop. So I'm not really into like the new hip hop. Like as far as like some people kind of like take it back to like the old days,
right?
Like some artists, but stuff like you hear like Lil Wayne or stuff like that. It's just kind of like Young Thug. It's just or what they would call it like club music or trap music. And it's kind of just like it's annoying to me. But
any other from the new school besides A$AP Rocky that you kind of throw out there?
A$AP Rocky, Tyler the Creator, Mac Miller, and it was another one. And I'm starting to kind of like a little bit of Logic, a little bit just that's as far as like just the person. Like I gotta get adjusted to this music, but yeah.
I could definitely see you liking A$AP Rocky and Tyler the Creator in terms of like their creativity and just what they do with their with themselves and their product and the way they do their work. Or do you feel like any kind of inspirement?
I kind of like it because just watching like little like their like background and just history, like what they gone through before they became rappers and whatnot. It's just they all kind of have just like a little like connection. It's just like the independent, just being like them, like being themselves, and like really mainly like Tyler the Creator, just because he does everything in his everything. Yeah. And as far as like just music, it's just fashion, and it's trying to just do like everything that's possible, and that's where like I get like a lot of everything I'm motivated from that. Just kind of just being like F it, just do it, and just live life, So at a young age, and that's the thing. But like ASAP Rocky, he's like maybe like 26. Tyler Perry, he's 24. Mac Miller, 23. So everyone's like around like the same.
Right.
Well, I think Mac Miller's like 26 now, but like it's no. Mac Miller, he's 24.
He's 24. I think he's 23 or 24. Because I know he's like a year
Yeah,
older.
I know.
Yes,
He's 24. Yeah. So like it's like the age group is just like real close, and just seeing like their mindsets is just really kind of connected, and it's just somewhere I want where I want to be, but not in like a rapper, or like we all have a different like niche, but just that mindset of just kind of just going out there and getting it, just not being afraid. So
all right, quickly, favorite movie.
Oh man, I always gonna my favorite movie.
If you don't say, if you're not a Tarantino fan, this interview's over.
I gotta go with Running Scared. With Paul Walker. That was probably like
that was a good movie.
a great crime thriller movie. Like it was really raw and gritty, which I kind of just love.
All right. Greatest accomplishments thus far.
You know what? Like I don't feel like I accomplished anything, but I would say I guess making a movie. So
IMDb.
Yeah, I got my I'm actually a was it credited director, actor, I have my credits, so that's pretty cool.
It's greatest failures so far.
Greatest failures
or mishaps. Or setbacks. Anything.
Ooh, man. I lost fights. I'll say that. That's probably as close to a recent failure, but that's about it.
So, tell me something. What's next for your endeavors and for your plans?
Honestly, I couldn't really tell you that. Everything in my life it just comes. I got a few things planned. I got fighting, I got racing, I got the movies. I might start up a clothing line. I'm not sure. It's just everything is just an unpredictable rate for me. It's tomorrow I can have a whole bunch of different ideas, or in a week I have a whole bunch of different ideas. It all depends when I'm around and what just pops up. So it's it's just a variable.
Right. So, and one last question. So, if you had a message for yourself when you were younger, or just for kids or anyone inspiring to do anything, what would it be?
As a kid, you are kind of just having fun and living life. You don't really see anything past that. So I would just say just keep living life and just enjoying everything about it. And just don't give up on your dreams. And do what you think that's good and what's better for you. That's what I'm doing. So why not?
See you in 4 years.
Any closer?
Yeah. Too close, too close. Cause she said twerk. Work.
Alright. Is it starting?
Yeah.
Oh,
On action, on heat. So.
That's understandable. Like, so was Buddha, like, did you say you just felt like Buddhism was the choice? I didn't catch that. I didn't look at the clock.
Yeah, switch over to soft thing. Alright, okay. Alright, go. Hello?
Oh,
Yes.
Yes. So this is a test shot.
Yeah, test shot.
Test shot. I get it.
Alright, we go Chaz Dowdell on his way to the weigh-ins. As you can see, it's snowing in Pittsburgh. If you live in a warm climate, fuck you. It's cold as fuck right now.
I come back and ask. So I think you typically want to say that.
Oh, that's
Say
well,
your own lines first, or
well, that was a quote.
oh, that was a quote.
Yeah, that's a quote. That's a quotation mark.
Okay.
Yeah.